Conscription in England and the United States ended as early as the 1970s, but this did not apply to all other countries in the world. Here you can see that the army for men, in some cases even for women, is applied to today in almost half of the world. Today's video is a sequel to the previous one, so if you want, you can watch it. So in today's video, we will look at the other 5 most interesting compulsory military services in the world and brief explanation. And we start straight with the worst. I assume you know which country it is. And yeah, it's North Korea. As you have become accustomed to, for example in previous countries, the time that the army lasts is usually only about a year, or a year and a half. In North Korea, this period is completely different. Prepare to announce how long compulsory military service in North Korea lasts. A man must spend 11 years of his life here, and for a woman even 7 years, which is probably one of the reasons why 34% of the people are employed in the military. Their work during the service probably does not have to be just outdoor exercises or border guards. Probably during the service, they can earn money as pilots, workers in a military office, and so on. Next we have South Korea, which is basically the opposite of North Korea. Basically the difference between compulsory military service in North Korea and South Korea could be characterized by this figure. I don't mean that the soldiers in the South Korean army would be weak. Like, there is also a lot of complicated training where, for example, you have to go to chemically contaminated room or swim in cold water. But even so, the service time is shorter and not so terrible. There's one thing about women who want to serve, of course voluntarily. Women are restricted in the most dangerous profession, such as artillery, armor, and anti-air. Okay, now let's move to probably, in my opinion, the best military service in the world, which is Norwegian. Norway employs a weak form of mandatory military service for men and women. In 2015, conscription was extended to women, making Norway the first NATO member and first European country that make national service compulsory for both men and women. Since I couldn't find much information, I went to Reddit where I found a guy describing his own experience as a recruit in the Norwegian army. I did 1 year mandatory military service in Norway. Got trained and worked as a torpedo engineer. Also trained on MG3 machine gun. Service was a nice break between high school and studies, and later job as an economist. Some of it was pretty boring service, basically waiting prepared for invasion that didn't happen. Expect some rather brutal winter mountain training. It was okay. I would do it one again. So I don't think they take the service negatively, like in Russia where they treat them like animals. As the next one, we have Singapore. National service is mandatory for Singapore citizens born here. For any foreigner migrated to Singapore, only the males from the 2nd generation onwards have to do national service. Typically comprised of active full-time service, about 3 years, and followed by part-time, 10 years of reservist. Example, if you migrated here with little children, and let's say you have 2 daughters and 1 son, all under 18 years of age, that son may be required to do national service. In the past, service was very much based on the military, but nowadays it's increasingly based on police or medical assistance. In any case, it depends on education and physical fitness.